Michael Reid on LMFM is heard live from 9 a.m. weekdays, and this is a repeat broadcast of the programme. But you can make comment right now on our 24-hour comment line. Call us now or anytime on 1850 365 958. That's 1850 365 958. And the lines are open now. Michael Reid on LMFM.
Now, here's some really fascinating statistics for you. Life expectancy is increasing at 2 years every decade, or if you prefer, by 5 hours every single day. The majority of children born in the developed world are going to live to 100 years of age. They say that already there's a woman or a girl who is being born at this stage, but will live to be a woman of 150 years. The first woman in the UK drawing a pension is expected to live to 120. Those aged over 60 will double in size from 11% today to 22% in 2036, and for the first time in the world there'll be more than those who are aged under 5 who are over 60 years of age. They also say that people who are aged 50 plus own 70% of the world's wealth and account for 55% of spending. Those statistics come to us from the Louth Economic Forum's Age-Friendly Business, which was launched yesterday. Obviously, there's many opportunities tied to these statistics in jobs, goods and services. We're joined by Gavin Duffy, who's the chairman of the Louth Age-Friendly Business Forum, which is one of 10 tiers under the Louth Economic Forum, and also by Minister of State with responsibility for the New Era project, Fergus O'Dowd. And thank you both indeed for joining us now.
Thank you for having us.
Yesterday, you launched the county of Louth as one of just 33 recognised cities as such, as the World Health Organisation would define them, as age-friendly cities, which is an amazing achievement in itself, Gavin Duffy.
Yeah, I have to say, Mike, I was surprised about this, because when I was approached earlier in the year, and I feel a bit guilty now, I was a bit reluctant because getting involved with and sometimes the old cynic in me says, but local authorities, they launch brochures and it all looks very good, but nothing actually happens. And Pádraig White, who chairs the Louth Economic Forum, and has done, now that I've sort of been involved, just amazed the amount of work that's been going on. But Pádraig started canvassing my wife. He thought that was he knew Orla. So pressure was applied and I got involved.
Clever way to go, yeah.
Yeah. But what was amazing, Mike, was when I got there, I realised something I hadn't known about Louth, that we are one of the world's leading counties for the whole work of research and development for producing products and services and living spaces for older people. And there's a long track record there with CASALA, the Netwell Centre, the development in Barrack Street in Dundalk, which is a test centre for the type of future environments older people might be living in. And the fact that, yes, we're recognised, Louth is recognised by the World Health Organisation. There are only 33 cities, as they call it, but areas around the world that, as you say, have that status. I think Louth was number 12, and I think it's something we should all be very proud of, that, the county is at the forefront. In fact, the North East, if we're to talk about the LMFM area, Fingal have now come on board, and my good friend Bill Cullen, we've twisted his arm to get involved there. In Meath, we've seen great work in Summerhill and, places like that for elderly people and that. But we're not talking here about just retirees. I'm 51, Mike, and there was a sort of a personal interest here. My youngest, Aisling, started secondary school the other day. Now, I remember dropping her into Scolenga, and to me it seems like yesterday when she started primary school, right? So in just a blink of an eye, I'm going to be in my 60s, and we are going to live longer. And the way that we're researching technology in Louth for seniors, there's two big things come out of this. Yeah, why should I be, and I use this word unfortunately, condemned is how I would see it, to have to go into what we'll call in old terms an old folks home and all of that. And look, there's some brilliant ones and all of that, when I could carry on living independently and know that using technology and the internet and the cloud, that you can be monitoring my blood pressure, my blood oxygen levels, there can be sensors in my home that sort of can tell, follows my pattern and knows the times I'm sort of sleeping and and can tell, there's something has changed in the pattern, maybe the man's had a fall, and then there's an intervention, and then an ambulance is called, and the pressure that it take off families as well, because nursing homes are very expensive, that if they knew their parent could carry on living independently, and I know my own mum, who lives in Scarlet Street in Drogheda and refuses to live with any of her 3 sons, they want to carry on living independently.
And this is one of the objectives of the forum, to make that possible. But you mentioned the Netwell Centre and the CASALA Centre, the work that's taking place in Barrack Street, and all of this linked to DKIT and what's known as the cave there, which I haven't seen, but I think needs to be explained to our listeners, because this really is
there's a nasty rumour that our esteemed Minister of State might have been jarred last week, because he was staggering around DKIT, but I need to jump to his defence straight away before any tabloid paper. Any tabloid paper. The cave, just explained to people, if you're ever in Dundalk, drop in and have a look at this. It's in DKIT, and this is, instead of building actual real apartments, it is you walk into a space, but they can project any type of virtual world onto it. Now, for younger people who play games like Halo and things like this, but this is one that you're actually in the middle of it. You're not watching it on a screen. And architects go there and they say, we're designing this now for somebody with a wheelchair. And, they can work out exactly what space is needed to turn a wheelchair, what height, the worktops have to be at, and so on. But they can bring along, if they're fitting out an apartment for an individual, and they put on 3D glasses and they can walk them around it. And when you're in there, Fergus, it's actually it's normal. But when you take the 3D glasses off, it's very disorientating.
Well, this is the thing.
When you come back into the real world.
I know you don't want to actually refute what has been said about you, but you do wish to explain
Michael,
it.
Can I explain exactly what it's like? And I know you'd enjoy this best of all. It's like being on the Michael Reid show as a politician. And you walk in, you're having a cup of coffee, and he's smiling at you, and suddenly everything changes, and you don't know whether it's changed or not, but it really has. It's basically 3D. Literally, you go in and you stand in the spot, but you think you're actually moving, and as you rotate your eyes or your head around, you actually move, even though you don't move. And you think a door's going to hit you, and it doesn't. But it's basically using technology in the best available way to research ageing and physical dimensions and realities for people in their living space. So it's a very positive.
It's a simple little thing, Mike. Like, you have to decide. You think you want an apartment for somebody who's older to be small and compact, but actually to work out. They give you more steps to certain areas, simply just to keep you fit and that. Also, simple little things. When if you woke up in the middle of the night, your light in your bedroom comes on automatically at just 25% power, whereas the bathroom light comes on at 100% to lead you. Just these little design things that make a huge difference. But could I just say something to the wider business community? That's all of the big research that puts Louth at the cutting edge of global research and development in the area of provision of services and products for older people. But one of the things we're also doing is that we genuinely want Louth to be age friendly. We have the reputation. The World Health Organization has sanctioned Louth as being the leader in that. Louth is one of the only Bosch are carrying out big global research at the moment, and Louth is one of the 4 centres for this bit of global research, again about telehealth and using the technology for monitoring people's health as they get older. But I also want to say to the business community that what we want to do is now set up an affinity programme, and what we mean by that is that shops, traders, retailers and people who provide services will be awarded the designation of being age friendly. But for that, they're going to have to either, give special discounts, to people over 50, 55. The age mark has to be picked yet. And remember, that's, as you've said, where the disposable income is. These are the people who have money to spend. And we believe this is going to be a very good way to create footfall into shops in County Louth and right across the North East, because, as I said, this is going to extend right across the LMFM area. And even a simple little thing like it doesn't have to be a discount, right? But somebody pointed out to me, why do pensioners, when they go to the post office or to a bank, they're queuing up and they're standing? And one of the bits of research that's been carried out by Louth Age Friendly is that actually if you have a bench of people sitting down, that when people sit beside one another, they converse a lot more, the queue doesn't feel as long. These are just simple little ideas.
Indeed, that, parking.
That can be introduced that make such a difference and are going to generate more business for you. And I think the Chambers of Commerce are very excited about this, because actually traders do want to give discounts to attract people in, but they want to be careful how they do that, and we feel we can manage that. And I don't mean to embarrass you, Mike, but I have to say, earlier on in the summer when we met with Michael Crawley here at LMFM, because if this only works if the local media is on board.
This is the chief executive of the radio station.
Yeah, and Michael within 5 minutes was saying, this is a great initiative. LMFM is going to be fully on board. And, I very, very much appreciate that. And it's just that, LMFM will be helping people become more and more aware of this. And, I see that, places like Carlingford and Clorhead, etc. One of the other committees, the tourism committee, why don't, if we're world leaders in being age friendly, we should create a tourism product here in the county.
Well, this is it
for people to come here, for short stays and more.
It's more than just an idea. It's not a project that's sitting on somebody's desktop or laptop, for that matter, because you mentioned this telehealth project which you launched yesterday, and just to talk about that a little bit more, because there's 16 apartments, 15 of them are occupied by older people in the Great Northern Haven, and they're consistently being monitored using this technology, where they're rigged up to devices which will monitor stuff like blood pressure, or people can actually see them visibly on screens. But how do you pay for all of this? Well,
actually, it pays for itself, because when an elderly person gets very sick and has to go to hospital, they're going to cost the health service anything from 800 to 1,000 a day in hospital. And then we use this terrible phrase in the HSE, that poor elderly person, remember, will be you in a few years' time, or your parent now. What are they called? A bed blocker, because they're holding up a bed, because they can't be sent home, or there isn't a nursing home.
Before the HSE makes contact with us, I think they object to that term, but it is one that is used to describe people.
Exactly right. Apologies to the HSE, because in fairness, the HSE have been the lead in this, because they see the sense of it. But I'm just saying that terminology is sort of used within the health service and that. So, yeah, if you're going to spend though about €50 a week on the technology and monitoring and that, I mean, the savings are just incredible. And the research in Louth is tied into a similar piece of research going on in the United States, and at the moment the figures are looking at about a reduction of 2/3 of hospital admissions as a result of this ongoing monitoring.
Incredible.
So it's just going to pay for itself.
And Minister, there's two obvious questions that come from that. Given the significant savings that can be made by using this type of technology and making the investment in the first place, surely it should be rolled out nationwide. And secondly, given the cutting edge technology that is being used and demonstrated in County Louth, it must pose great opportunity for the county, indeed for the country.
Of course it does, and I think one of the key drivers of this is in fact the county manager. The county manager has put a team together, a comprehensive team, including particularly and very importantly senior citizens themselves who actually participate in all of this research, who talk and are part of the decision-making process. And I think from a political point of view, it's very important that my party, Fine Gael, and the Labour Party who are in government with us, I'll be meeting Enda later today and I'll be explaining this to him. I'll be talking to James Riley. I'll be talking to Catherine Lynch, who's the Labour Party's person, Minister of State, to make sure that they're up to date with all of this. And certainly certainly it's about, first of all, it's about better care. It's about more independence. It's about living at home as long as you can. It's about reinforcing, your ability to, to continue to do that. And it's using technology to do that in a comprehensive way. So
and has the potential to reduce the numbers in emergency departments at a record high.
Because if Johnny if he has an underlying medical condition, and they know if his blood pressure goes beyond 170 or whatever it presently is, they know straight away, and we'll know that day that we better get to that guy, we better test him again, we better get a doctor to call, or the nurse will call, or whatever. So it's all about being proactive, but leaving people in their homes. And one of the other important pluses as well is that I think this will drive a lot of voluntary workers and voluntary people in to help out as well. I think that's a very important part of it, getting buy-in from voluntary people who say, look, I'm going to help, I'm going to offer my car to bring somebody to hospital, and I know the taxi isn't reasonable because the taxi would have to stay there all day, it costs a fortune. So you set up a network of people who will help out other people and get credits for themselves. So in other words, if I help out your mum, then you maybe help out my cousin somewhere down the road or whatever. So you interact that way with it. I was in America recently, and I met some people involved in elder care in Chicago, and they're very proactive in all of this. And there's a fantastic research going on in America as to how to deal with as your body as it ages, how you deal with it. And I think that this is the whole future, because unfortunately the downside of not having this in place is people being in hospital for longer and ending up in homes, which in many cases
Mike,
is not the place for them.
At the risk of embarrassing the minister here, the impression we have of a lot of politicians is they disappear for the summer. Now, they work hard enough the rest of the year.
Thank you, Gavin.
In the case of Fergus O'Dowd, can I just put on record, this man actually attends our meetings. And yes, I'm going to cause him to blush. I think we're very lucky that in the county we have now a minister with the ear of government who's a man who already had a track record in campaigning for, I'll use the term abuse that was going on in nursing homes. I mean, this man has the track record, was a champion of this cause, and in opposition was very vociferous about it. And, Lee's Cross and all of those are now part of history. To have that man now a minister and representing our county, and to have him coming, I mean, the honour it is to have a minister turning up at meetings in the middle of the summer to sit in. I mean, that is just Fergus. I mean, we just appreciate. And I'm also, which will be rare perhaps for the Mike Reid show, if this is okay, I'm going to actually build a little statue here to Con Murray, because I didn't know this man. Right, he's a county manager, and what does the local authority do, and all of that, right? The energy and drive that this man has, and the way, and Michael Kern as well, the two of them. But Con just has a vision, and he's not expecting too much of this. He just sees that the local authority should be an enabler. Yeah. So we will create the platform to bring people together. We'll sort of remove the speed bumps, the barriers and the hurdles, and then it's up to the private sector. And you put a challenge, people like you, Gavin, okay, so are you going to put your time where your mouth is, type of thing, and you come on board. And from Con Murray through to we're just. Why is Louth getting world recognition? It's getting because just it happens that a certain bunch of people come together at a certain time, and I think Con Murray, Pádraig White, the amount of work this man has done on the Economic Forum is just sensational. There's a lady called Catherine McGuigan who is an expert in this area and is an advisor to our committee and works with me, sister of Barry McGuigan. Except had she gone into boxing, I think she would have even gone further than Barry, because the lady would punch holes in anything to get something done. And Adele O'Mahony, I mean,
just a lot of determination, obviously.
And again, it's almost popular these days, to have a cut at public servants and things like that. The public servants that I've seen working behind the scenes, and by the way, Adele O'Mahony's doing about 25 other jobs as well as this. Yeah. Just their entire focus. And as I said, even a little thing like LMFM, I write for the local papers, the DI and the Argus, and the support they're going to be giving this. just something is right about this, Mike. And this is going
really looks exciting. Really looks
fascinating. This is really going to be big, very, very big for the northeast. It's going to be huge, and there's a lot of people helping out, isn't there?
There is Dennis Cummins, who's basically the DKIT. He's doing a fantastic job, and all his staff are totally focused on the product, which is a better care for,
which will improve
comprehensive. It's
improve
really fantastic,
people's lives, and I'm sure the praise we've heard there is well deserved. But there is the other aspect of this, the opportunity that comes as a result of it, and I'm sure a minister, as the minister who has responsibility for creating jobs under New Era, it's a particular interest to you.
Very much so.
And as you said, you'll be outlining it to your party colleagues. The thinking is today. Would your hope be that schemes like this would pop up right around the country?
Very much so, and I think it's been driven by the right people. It's been driven by research, by information, by facts, by the buy-in from the HSE, by the buy-in from the older people in our community, and to people like Gavin, to the buy-in from the greater community out there, the business community. And my job as minister would be to drive this agenda, and I will do it. And it's one thing that will really give me, as I said, a strange thing to say, it's going to make me really happy that I'm involved in this, because politicians do jobs they have to. This is one I want to do, which makes it different. I think
evident.
Everybody wants to do this. Well, that's the difference.
But Fergus,
it's not just a job; it's something.
Fergus met a gentleman called Rod Bond.
I did, absolutely,
and I think he was blown away. Andrew McFarren, Rod Bond. Rod Bond is a global expert in this time, and he meets you and he gives you the stats of where we're going, and it's just fascinating. And you just get a buzz, don't you, and you want to do it. And Mike, thank you for having us, because it is the launch, we believe, of something
special. It really is a real pleasure, because not only is it fascinating, but unusually on this programme it's exceptionally positive, and we really are delighted to have heard about it on the programme. And thank you both very much indeed for joining us here today. Gavin Duffy is the chairman of the Louth Age Friendly Business Forum, and Fine Gael TD in Louth. Fergus O'Dowd is the Minister of State with responsibility for the New Era project.
Michael Reid on LMFM is heard live from 9 a.m. weekdays, and this is a repeat broadcast of the programme. But you can make comment right now on our 24-hour comment line. Call us now or anytime on 1850 365 958. That's 1850 365 958. And the lines are open now. Michael Reid on LMFM.